Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me today. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button and check out my other videos on the channel. If this is your third or fourth video that you've checked out, thanks so much for your support, and I'm really glad you're getting creative at home. Really proud of you for doing that as well. So in this video, this is going to be geared towards my beginner painters. So those of you that just want to keep getting comfortable with painting, maybe explore some new subjects, explore more blending and some of the basics, these are good videos for you to utilize. With that being said, you have full permission to change out any colors or change anything about the video or about the painting process. That's the great part about creativity. You get to kind of make it your own. So what you're going to see in the description box below is what I call a link to a supply kit. And in that supply kit are the basic supplies that you need to paint at home. So use what you have at home, but if you need to grab some new stuff or you like what I'm using in the video, you can use that link just kind of as a guide for what you'll get there. Another thing that you're going to see is something that I call a traceable, and there's a link in the description box below for that as well. And a traceable is a way for my first-time and beginner painters to get the initial composition on the canvas before you even start painting. And there is also going to be a link for a video on how to transfer your traceable. So check out both of those and get your initial composition on the canvas and then jump into the process of painting. When you're ready to kind of take your skills to the next level, check out my online school, paintwithlovejoy.com. And I've got a few advanced beginner, some intermediate classes on there, and my signature Paint Your Pet class is on there, as well as my intro to palette knife scraping. Both you will learn a lot, and you'll learn some core foundational art skills in both of those courses. So please keep evolving your skills, keep painting, keep getting creative. Try to find a monthly outlet for yourself. I recommend that for everyone. All right, so I think that's enough talking right now. Let's go ahead and jump into the process of painting.
Okay guys, this is going to be another fun painting for my beginners in the Inspiring Human, Inspiring Women series. So gather your supplies, transfer your traceable to your surface, and as always, make sure you take your progress photos. Now on my traceable, I did go over it with black Sharpie marker, just for those of you at home that are going to pause the video and draw what you see. If you transfer the traceable, you do not have to go over it with the marker like I did. And just now demonstrating a few different brush strokes to try when you move into your background. I'm going to be using a light blue, and that is white with a little bit of blue. And you're actually going to notice that I mix the color multiple times. And maybe sometimes it's a little darker, sometimes it's a little lighter. I do recommend doing that for you, just so that way you can get more comfortable with mixing your paint, and having a little variety in your background is always beneficial. Um, and with that being said, you are more than welcome to change the color. If you prefer a different colored background or different colored elements on this person or this illustration, feel free to switch it out to what you want for you. All right, doing a great job filling in that space. If you are on a stretched canvas, I do recommend that you carry this color around the sides of the canvas. Just looks nice when you hang it on the wall, having it wrap around the edge. And I am using student grade paint and applied it kind of thick here, but I went with just a really light color. Here I'm introducing a little bit of the darker blue, kind of a medium blue, and then just with light pressure moving that into that base lighter blue. And this is called wet on wet blending. You can do it with white or another color, but do everything that you want to the background now while your background is wet. Then you can let it dry if you want, and then move on to the other elements of the painting. I just want you to use this as a kind of a base guideline as you go through the process of painting. But change anything you want. All right, so this is a good place to pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to be moving into a smaller brush, and I'm using that middle flat brush and kind of a light purple. So that is white with a touch of purple. Again, you can change the color here if you want. And for this scientist or researcher, we're giving her or him uh, a light purple kind of base on there. Now we move down to the pointy brush, grab that direct purple, and we're kind of splitting that seam and then doing little circles for the button. Then you'll notice where I kind of just wipe the brush off and then pull to the left-hand side of that line some of that darker purple into the lighter purple. Just kind of softens that line. Then we're taking that direct purple and on the collar of the shirt, just adding that. Again, you can totally change colors if you want. And when I painted this, I did have the idea of a scientist or a researcher or medical researcher. Um, you could even go doctor if you wanted. And in the nurse video, I do have a stethoscope. So if you want to turn this into a doctor and you want to put a stethoscope on there, check out the other nurse video. Or just Google the image of a stethoscope, a silhouette of a stethoscope. All right, so here now grabbing that white, just giving that collar a bit of a highlight. And you'll notice that because that dark purple's still pretty wet, it is diffusing that white paint in there rather quickly. And it almost kind of turns it into the light lavender. All right, so we're going to clean that brush really good. We are going to be moving into the skin tone next. Again, do recommend that you pause the video and take your progress photo. And we're going to start with white and then add raw sienna and then a little bit of yellow. You are more than welcome to adjust the skin tone for your painting to anything that you want. You can use white with a little touch of red if you want something more kind of porcelain skin tone. You can use white and just raw sienna for a light tan. Adding the yellow to the white and raw sienna kind of warms it up a little bit more. If you want to go darker, you could be mixing raw sienna and burnt sienna together. A little darker than that, you can go raw sienna and black, and a little bit of black goes a long way, or even burnt sienna and black. So feel free to adjust and play with different colors to get the skin tone that you want. And if you want to do blue or purple or a different skin tone, go right ahead and do that as well. So with the color that I use, that white, raw sienna, and yellow, I filled in the whole face, the ears, and the neck. And then I am wiping the brush off. I'm not cleaning it thoroughly, but I'm just going to grab some of that white and do a little bit of contouring. So we're going to kind of, on that right-hand side, give a little bit of a highlight, the nose, and then just a touch on the forehead. Again, just giving the illusion. And then going back with light pressure and just kind of blending that into the base color. Now moving into the raw sienna and adding what we consider the shadow values, so where the eye sockets would be, and then the little shadow right underneath the chin on the neck. And I'm keeping that a bit on the more of that right-hand side of the neck, and then we would have a little bit of a shadow kind of where the hair is overlapping the face. Again, feel free if you do a lot of makeup and you've done contouring before, feel free to just kind of dive in and play with that as you shape the face. But you're doing a great job. All right, so another place to pause the video and take a progress photo. We're going to move into the hair, and again, full permission to change the hair color. And I'm doing a mixture of raw sienna and burnt sienna. I'm going for kind of a dark, warm brown. But like I said, if you want black hair, blonde, red, purple, any type of hair that you want, feel free to change and adjust. Now you will notice I am using student grade paint. It is a bit on the transparent side. And as we're doing the hair, you can see where I've applied it thick and it's a bit more opaque compared to the areas where it's a little bit more thin and we can see some of the whiteness of the canvas shining through. If you happen to have paint like this, you've got two options. You can apply it a little bit thicker for more of that opaque coverage, or you can do 2 layers on it. For this particular video, I'm only going to do 1 layer. On the nurse video, I did do 2 layers with the skin tone and the hair, and it did make a difference. So feel free to kind of pull up that video and just kind of do a reference and see what you want to do, if you want to do 2 coats or 1 coat on yours. All right, so now I grab that direct burnt sienna and we're giving a little bit of a shadow on the hair, behind the head and the neck, and then just kind of pulling that up into the hair. Again, trust your instincts for where you want to add some of your shadows and highlights. And you can think of it as coloring your hair, putting in the highlights and lowlights. And again, if you need to switch to a smaller brush, feel free to do that as well. I tend to stick with the same brush throughout the painting. All right, so now I'm grabbing that yellow, and these are going to be the highlights. And again, applying it kind of generously, just because that lighter color will get diffused into the burnt sienna as I move it into, or the raw sienna as I move it into the color. And again, just think of these as highlights. And if you want to go a little lighter, you could do the white and raw sienna. You can change it up. All right, so take your progress photo if you need to. We're going to move into the lab coat, or doctor's coat, or whatever you want to call it, researcher's coat. And we're going to basically, using that middle flat brush, I'm applying the pure white, super exciting, putting white on a white canvas. But we're going to fill that space in on both sides of the jacket. Then we'll use the pointy brush with a medium to dark gray and give the illusion that we've got the lapel flap on the coat. And it's kind of nice to just put this base in first, and then we'll soften the shades of gray, or the darker shade of gray, into it. So again, making that gray, the small pointy brush, white, and then with a little bit of black. And then here, just observe kind of the design that I draw in there. We're placing it on there first on both sides. Then we're going to wipe that brush off and then moving it away from the center. So we're taking some of that dark gray and moving it to the left-hand side, to the shoulder. And then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, but move it towards the right, towards that shoulder. And again, just observe the difference this little depth makes. And it makes the lapel kind of pop forward, and then just gives a nice shading to the jacket or lab coat. All right, doing good. So now we're going to grab that black paint. We're going to outline the glasses, and then we'll be outlining the whole design. When we get to the outlining part of the design, completely optional. If you do not want to do it, you do not have to. And if you want to change the glass, the color of the glasses, feel free to change it up and make any type of color or designer glasses that you want. With that being said, if you want to add something on the lapel, if you want to put a pocket in there, a little pin, anything that you want to do to make this scientist or researcher or doctor more unique, go ahead and do that. I know some people have made these as gifts, and then they'll write the name on the lab coat, and you can do that in Sharpie marker if that's a little tough to do it with the paint, or they'll even write a message above the character, above the illustration. So again, full permission to just kind of have fun with this. All right, so as you're doing the outline, you can stick with that small pointy brush, or you can do what I'm doing here. I did go back up to that large flat brush just because I like to kind of hold it, the sideways version, just because it holds more paint, and it produces a slightly thicker line. And like I said earlier, the outlines are completely optional. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. It gives it a bit more of a pop art kind of cartoony feel. All right, you're doing good. And as you're working with the brush, remember to breathe. If you exhale as you touch the brush to the canvas, that will help, especially if you've got some shakiness going on, because you might be holding your breath. And if you need to, turn the canvas sideways, turn it upside down, anything that you need to make some of these lines a little bit easier. I keep mine in the same orientation just because I'm filming the video to make it easier for you guys. All right, and play with the pressure as you do this. Light pressure will create a skinnier line. A little more pressure will create a bit of a wider line. And for my beginner painters, if you've got a variety of widths of line in your painting, that's okay. Embrace that. That's where you're painting for today. The more that you paint, the more comfortable you'll get with holding the brush and get comfortable with the process. And what you learn in this painting will make even more sense the next time that you paint. So I encourage everybody, don't wait too long to do your next painting, and try really hard to find a creative outlet for yourself on a regular basis. And if you don't like painting or find out that it's not really your thing, please find another creative outlet for yourself. Maybe try music or dance or theater, get back into reading, anything to kind of have a creative outlet in your life. Because the creative outlets just kind of help balance ourselves, our individuality, our mental status, and it makes people nicer in my experience. And I want nicer and more kind people on this planet. So please find your creativity. All right, so here we're switching over to white, putting the highlights in. And I did move down to that small pointy brush, and it does help to let that black, the outline, fully dry so you don't contaminate your white when you go to put the highlights on the glasses. Now, as you're putting the highlights on the glasses, you'll notice that maybe I got kind of a bit of a whiter line that I wanted. You can go back with the black and readjust anything, and I believe I will be doing that on this painting. All right, and again, remember to breathe. You guys are doing a great job. Really appreciate you hanging out and painting with me for a little bit. And like I said earlier, don't wait too long to do your next painting. All right, there we go. Yeah, I thought I toned that down just a little bit. So feel free to go back and forth with whatever you need. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and getting creative. Have a great day. Cheers.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the process of painting and I hope you really like how your paintings turned out. I'm really proud of you for going through the process. As you're uploading these to social media, please tag me at or hashtag paintwithlovejoy and definitely email me your photos, paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. Share this with your community. When I post your photos on social media, it encourages so many other people that are scared to paint. It encourages them to give it a try. So you are really important in helping other people tap into their own creativity. So please share with your community. With that being said, again, when you want to take your skills to the next level, check out my online school, paintwithlovejoy.com, and check out that Paint Your Pet course. Because when you paint something that you love, you learn more, you put a little more energy into it, and you're pretty much pleased with the results. So give that a try. So I'm really grateful that you took time out of your day to hang out with me and get creative. Don't wait too long to do your next painting, and I look forward to painting with you in the future. Cheers.